Hello and welcome again to another episode of Railway Empire. We're back here and we're going to hopefully in this episode try and expand from Peterborough all the way over to Mildura. Or Madeira, sorry. I apologize for... It is Mildura. Okay, my bad. My bad. Okay, so that's what we're going to plan on doing for this episode. Unfortunately, we don't have quite enough money to do that. So there are two options at this point. You can either wait, which is a very viable option, or you can go into the economy here, economy tool. If you go through this enough, you can actually go through this here. So you can see your company, Roger Smith. That's my character I picked, and the overall, this is your total worth or your net worth kind of thing, and where you're going to be striving to do, and I think the year based on. Anyways, you can see all this. You can look at your competitors.
A small purchase on the stock market.
As you can see, he just bought 12% of my shares, which is not a good thing, guys. Not a good thing. So here's your yearly report. It'll tell you everything you need to know about your business and how you're trending. Get your competitors. Here, as you can see, Doc Murphy, he already bought 12% of my business already, so that's it's not a good thing. But you can, this is where you can go and buy his shares, and eventually you'll be able to basically say you're done. So the one thing I was going after is going to go on the bonds. So what we could do, since we have stock, or we own a meat factory, we can actually buy shares in food. Right now we can buy 10 shares for 11,000. Every time, what happens is when we get a little bit more money as we transfer the beef, right? That's an important thing. Go ahead and do that. These will add up as more things come in, but we'll own 10 shares in the food industry, and I'm going to buy 10 shares in the raw materials. Okay, so consumer goods, we won't worry about that just yet. We won't worry about that. The other thing we could do, we could also get a bond, which is basically a loan. So for this case, we got three options. We can grab 400,000 for 100 months at 8% interest. And then we got 276,000.
Invest a little in your train's reliability.
At an 80-month term at 6%, or 100,000 at 60 months and 4%. So right now, the thing is, for 100 months, you're going to be paying 8%, regardless. It comes right off the top. But right now, in this particular junction, the only one that would actually help us expand would be the top one here, because it is the most amount of money. We're going to go ahead and grab that. You see I have 860,000 now. So now we can go back, and now we can actually afford train stations to expand our business here. Go ahead and put that in. Now, the other thing to note when you're building tracks, I didn't say that our share of this last time, but I should have. When you're crossing rivers or lakes or water, and you specifically need to cross an area where there is water, like this river here, you can only have 2 tracks going over the same spot. That didn't sound good. Well, there's a storm there, okay. So, here's what I mean by that. I'll build this track here first, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. I'll pop that in. So, as I was saying, that storm sounds nasty. Boy. What I can't pull out now is pull out a train here, or track here, and run it straight across as a parallel thing. It will not let me build it. I can go over here, or at another location, basically, but I can't have more than 2 parallel tracks going over the same spot. Not sure why they did it that way, but they did it. It is what it is. All we can do is roll with it. Alright, so we got that, we got that. And that there. I like to put my supply towers mostly in the middle of the line. The other thing about supply towers, they also count as a set of signals. Go ahead and set that up. I'll get some beer. And we'll set up a line going the other way. No, I don't want the covered cab just yet. The reason I'm not doing any auctions on this particular thing is with, I go back here and I can see there's green and red things though. So this particular character, Roger Smith, he has a thing where auctions cost double the amount they normally would. So with that in mind, you don't necessarily want to be buying anything off the auction that you don't need for this particular character. It is something to keep in mind. And now we need to supply him with some beef. He needs the beef. He needs the beef. Need a small train station. Actually, need to be really careful now because one of our bonds is about to come through. And the other thing about the bonds too,
with each new station, the wilderness is continually being pushed further away.
That's the other thing you gotta watch out for. Your competitors will chat you up every once in a while. Sometimes it's quite annoying. Most times it's quite annoying. Alright, so we'll go ahead and do that. No, I don't want the train water. It doesn't need to. Well, that will set that up. And we'll split this track. Like I said, it's easier to do it now than it is when you have a traffic jam. So you might as well try and do it now. At the early stages, it's a hell of a lot easier. And the other thing to note is signals are free. And it's a good thing they are because, man, like I said, they are your best friend. Sometimes they're your worst enemy because if they get placed in the wrong spot or you pull like a track in the wrong direction kind of thing, it can mess you up. So something to be worried about. So now we're really hurting for cash. We can't even set the line right now. That's how hurting we are right now. I'll wait for some cash to come in. Hopefully we'll get some soon. Luckily I can have this set up before we can... yeah, we need 31,000. Okay. Well, if you're in a situation like this where you're low on cash, your best bet is to wait. Don't take out a second loan. Yeah, the other thing to keep in mind is, we can get the speedometer. The speedometer. Okay. Eventually, we're going to have to upgrade to the John Bull. Hopefully, we'll have enough cash by then to do that. What did that say? I was missing something.
What's the problem? Too long intervals between maintenance, poor quality fuel, incompetent staff?
Put a supply... Okay. We didn't put a supply tower there. Let's solve that one here shortly. But I want us to set up this train, so. You need to set up a supply tower, although there is one along here. No, there isn't. Oh. Okay, so that's going to be something we actually need to look into right away here. We need to save that for right now. There's a supply tower there. Okay. Well, let's put one here for you. That one can get fixed, get filled up. Generally what that means is they're out of water. Or oil or something. Now he should be pulling in there and filling that. He'll be resolved momentarily. There he is, off with a load of wheat. Like I said, unfortunately, we are hurting for cash. Isn't nearly as bad as it could have been. Right now we can get the train. It'll take care of the cows. It'll take care of the meat factory. We're slowly going to be building this up. All right. So what's the bonus down here? What's the bonus down here? Where is it? Neck Bendigo. Fortunately, we don't have enough near enough cash, but that's the other thing you gotta keep an eye on. Is sometimes you'll have these bonuses if you connect either a town or commodity to your line. They'll give you an extra little bit of a kick in the pants for you. In this case, if we build this up, we get an extra 158,000. But unfortunately, it would cost us too much to get down there at this particular juncture. You don't have anywhere near enough to get a train station in there just yet. So it is an unfortunate side effect. But it is a side effect. And for some reason, our town there is not growing. Main town is not growing here. Kind of curious as to why. However, they're producing enough.
I know the problem. Those damned hot water pumps.
They have stock. That's one thing. Breakdown. Well, I'm not worried about express lines just yet, so. Well, now here's the one issue is we have a breakdown. The one thing to combat against breakdowns. Actually, we're gonna go ahead and do this.
Just look at this fancy new valve timer. Magnificent.
I want to keep up with my trains. Now, one thing to keep up with your maintenance is to actually go into your station here and build a maintenance shed. Unfortunately, we can't because we don't actually have enough money. But the other option is you can run a maintenance station parallel to your tracks. What that'll do is when they need maintenance, they'll pull in there and get themselves fixed up. But the maintenance our station is $200,000, so it is. You kind of have to pick and choose where you do it. One thing to keep a note of: it doesn't stop your trains from breaking down. They'll still break down, and it's hard to say if it'll decrease the amount of times it'll it'll break down, but fortunately, at the moment, it basically is what it is. So, all right. So, I do want to look at expanding. However, I'd probably worry about my network more. I'm thinking we probably want to add here Marcy, and eventually we're going up to Birdsville. Although I'm not seeing too much wheat in near Birdsville here. Like next to nothing. So, kinda curious as to why there's a brewery up there. Because I'm not seeing anything that would supply it. At least not easily, anyways. We do have that one train, or that one wheat station down below. But I'd rather not have a train go up all that way just to supply brewery. That might be one thing to consider is when we do go up into Birdsville, we might have to change out their factory with something that would be much easier to work. For example, they got some clay here. Not clay, that's copper, sorry. They have copper, and we do have gold down here. Down by Marcy here. So in theory, we could get a gold mine up there. A gold smith. Alright, so let's put that into good work here. Alright. And nobody is doing anything for healing yet. We don't have a need for these just yet. Okay, so let's try. How do we expand on our main town here? That's the one question we need to concern ourselves with here. But vegetables and sugar here. Bendigo can supply wheat here pretty quickly, actually. And there's a fishery here. That is something to consider. We don't have enough to continue our expansions yet, unfortunately. So that is a concern. Is a concern. But I would like to have some wheat going into Mildura here.
Invest a little in your train's reliability.
Yeah. That is one kind of annoying feature. Though your competitors will never, ever, ever stop badgering you. It isn't a thing that happens, and unfortunately, you just gotta bear down and just handle it. Just gotta deal with it. Alright, so if I go another timber one down here. Take the timber, run up through here. See, this is where a warehouse could come in handy, because I could build the warehouse here and supply it with the timber, the veggies, fish, and wheat. All right, that might be something we might want to consider for the next episode. Fortunately, so far this episode has basically been just planning. But you know what? We're gonna go ahead and expand into Bendigo. We're gonna simply use a small train station for now. We'll upgrade it later. I like bigger train stations for towns. But unfortunately, when you're hindered by not being able to, is a thing you have to consider. Not that. Let's run along down the track here, make sure there's nothing stupid being built. Doesn't look like it. We'll build our parallel track, because we're definitely going to want a parallel track. Right, put that there. Now, of course, we need our signals. So the thing to keep in mind when you're doing a one platform track, when you're doing your signals, your trains are going to stop as they're coming into this town here. They're going to stop here at this signal until this platform is free. Okay? That is something to consider when you're expanding. But hopefully, we did get that that bonus, so we got that. So hopefully now we can go ahead and set up. Push the right button, set up a line. Here to here. That should give us some passenger income. As well as some meat. And also set up the train going from here to here. And until I expand that particular station, that's all I'm going to do for that one. I'm not going to push. I don't want to push too many trains on one track, because if they get jammed up, that can be a total nightmare. So, go ahead and purchase that. Essential shaft system that helps them fill up their or fuel up their water supply and everything faster. So, definitely want to do that. Now, we definitely do want Bendigo here to pick up a factory. Unfortunately, we can't afford a factory, but let's just see. Actually, we can afford a brewery. We can't afford to supply it yet, but we can afford a brewery here. So let's go ahead and put that one in there. And on the next episode, of course, we are going to go ahead and build a supply for a brewery here that we just built. And hopefully there is wheat here, so we can hopefully supply that pretty darn easily. So, folks, thank you for joining me today. I hope you guys like these videos, and if you do, please ring that bell, and hit the like button, and of course, subscribe. So then, see you next time, guys.
I know the problem. Those damned hot water pumps.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, everybody. All right, see you next time, guys.